Learn how to use Photoshop's 3D tools and settings in the process of creating a 3D text effect. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Marko Kožakar and I'm an elite Envato Market and Envato Elements author. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a 3D Marquee bulb sign text effect in Adobe Photoshop, originally written by Rose. If you're looking for a ready-made 3D text effects, let me show you the Envato Elements. Here you can get unlimited downloads of design assets, templates, fonts, and so much more. And you can cancel your subscription anytime. For creating a 3D Marquee bulb sign text effect in a quicker way, check out the Marquee Lights 3D Color SVG font. After you start the Photoshop, go to File, New to create a new file, and set the width to 1000 pixels, height to 750 pixels, and the resolution to 72 pixels per inch. Then go to File again, Place Linked. Select the brick image from the link and choose Place. Now resize the image to cover the whole canvas. And make sure to keep the image proportions. Then, press Ctrl A on your keyboard to make a selection of the canvas, and choose Align Vertical and Horizontal Centers to center the image with the canvas. Now go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and set the lightness to -65. Right-click on this layer and choose Blending Options. Select and check the Color Overlay effect. Set the blend mode to Linear Burn. And set the color to E0, E0, E0. Now go to Window, Character to bring up the character window. Set the font to Buffer Base. Font size to 450 points. Tracking to -75. Color to white. And check the stylistic alternates and all caps options. Choose the horizontal type tool, click anywhere inside the canvas, and type Shine. Select the Move tool, and center the text with the canvas. Go to 3D and choose New 3D Extrusion from selected layer. Now while the text mesh is selected, in the Properties panel, set the extrusion depth to 0. Click on the cap icon and then on the contour. Click here to add a point and set the input of this point to 5% and the output to 95%. Check the corner option and click here to add another point. Set the input and output of this point to 95%. And again, check the corner option. Select the top right hand point and set its output to 0%. Now select the cap again and set the bevel width to 12% and the angle to 85%. Select the text front inflation material, click on the diffuse folder icon and choose Load Texture. Select the Misto texture from the link and choose Open. Click on Diffuse folder icon again, and this time choose Edit UV Properties. Now set the UX and VI scale to 100%, VI tile to 1, and both offsets to 0%. Set the specular color RGB values to 135, 59, and 33. Then, set the illumination color RGB values to 191, 9, and 27. Here also set the intensity to minus 4.77 stops. Lastly, set the shine to 70% and reflection to 3%. Now click on this little arrow icon over here, then on the gear icon, and choose New Material. Name it Front and Back Material. So now we have this material ready for later use. Select the text back inflation material, click on the arrow icon, and choose the front and back material that we previously created. Now select the text front bevel material, click on the diffuse folder icon, and choose low texture. Select the D texture from the link, and choose Open. Select the text back bevel material, and Control-click on the extrusion material to select both materials. Click on the diffuse folder icon, and choose D texture again. Now add the text front bevel material to selection, set the specular color RGB values to 104, 86, and 64. Set the illumination color RGB values to 191, 96, and 27. And set the intensity to minus 4.77 stops. Then set the shine to 85%, reflection to 20%, and refraction to 1.536. Select the text back bevel and extrusion materials, and set the shine to 30%. Now we are going to adjust the scene lighting. Select the Infinite Light 1, and set the intensity to 50%, and shadow softness to 100%. Click on the coordinates icon, and set the X coordinate to minus 4.8 degrees, Y to 30.7, and Z to minus 50.2 degrees. Now select the scene, then click on the scene icon here, and check the back faces option. We need to add bulbs now. So before that, we are going to change the camera view. You can either choose the front preset view, or you can adjust the view manually using the Move Tools 3D modes. If you are adjusting it manually, make sure to select the orthographic option. Here is my result. Now go to 3D and choose Render 3D Layer to render the result. Go back to the Layers panel, right-click on this layer and choose Convert to Smart Object. Right-click on this layer again, and this time choose Blending Options. Now select and check the Outer Glow effect, and set the blend mode to linear light, opacity to 7%, color to FFCB8D, and size to 131 pixels. Then, select and check the drop shadow effect. Set the opacity to 75%, uncheck the Use Global Light option, set the angle to 63 degrees, distance to 6 pixels, and size to 10 pixels. Now we are going to create the vignette effect. Click on this icon over here and choose Solid Color to create a new solid color fill layer. And set the color to black. Change the blending mode of this layer to soft light and set the opacity to 50%. Then, drag this layer just below the text layer in the Layers panel. Choose the elliptical Marquee tool and click and drag to make a selection around the text. You can right-click on the selection and choose Transform Selection to transform and position the selection properly. Then, select the layer mask of the solid color fill layer, go to Edit, Fill, and set the contents to foreground color. Press Ctrl D on your keyboard to deselect the selection. Now in the Properties panel, set the feather of the layer mask to 90 pixels. We are going to add the light bulbs now. Go to File, Open, select the E letter with bulbs image from the link, and choose Open. Using the elliptical Marquee tool, make a selection of the bulb on the top of the letter. Once you have the perfect selection, go to Edit, Copy to copy the selection. Now go back to the original file and go to Edit, Paste to paste the selection. Drag this layer to the top of the layers and name it Bulb 01. Then, right-click on this layer and choose Convert to Smart Object. Double-click on this layer thumbnail, go to Image, Image Size, and set the width and height to 56 pixels. Then, go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue and Saturation, to create a new Hue and Saturation adjustment layer, and set the hue to -12. Right-click on this layer and choose Create Clipping Mask. Now right-click on the Bulb 01 layer and choose Blending Options. Select and check the Inner Glow effect. Set the blend mode to Linear Dodge, opacity to 25%, and set the color to FFF2E3. Set the source to center and change the size to 27 pixels. Go to File, Save to save the changes, and close this file. Choose the Move tool, press Ctrl T on your keyboard, and set the width and height to 43%. Then, position this bulb inside the first letter. Now right-click on this layer and choose blending options. Select and check the outer glow effect. Set the opacity to 75%. Set the color to FFCBAD. And set the size to 20 pixels. Then, select and check the drop shadow effect. And set the opacity to 35%, distance to 6 pixels, and size to 7 pixels. With the Move tool selected, alt-click and drag to duplicate the bulb. Repeat this step as many times as you need to fill in all the letters with bulbs. Here is my result. Now select your top bulb layer and shift-click on the bottom bulb layer to select all bulb layers between. Then, click on the folder icon to add all bulb layers into a folder, and name it Bulbs. Go to File, Open, select the bulb image, and choose Open. Select the elliptical Marquee tool and make a selection of the bulb. Then, go to Edit, Copy to copy the selection. Return to the original file. Go to Edit, Paste to paste the selection. Now press Ctrl-T on your keyboard and transform the unlit bulb to match the size of the light bulb. And move it to a place of one of them. Hide the covered light bulb layer. Right-click on this layer and choose Convert to Smart Object. Then, name this layer Bulb 02. Now right-click on this layer again and choose Blending Options. Select and check the Inner Shadow effect. Set the blend mode to linear light. Color to B8, B8, B8. Set the opacity to 100%. Angle to 120 degrees. Distance to 0. And size to 10 pixels. Then, select and check the Inner Glow effect. Change the opacity to 55%. Set the color to white. And set the size to 13 pixels. We will add a couple of more effects to this layer. Select and check the Outer Glow effect. And set the opacity to 5%. Lastly, check the Drop Shadow effect. Now right-click on this layer and choose Blending Options again. I'll click on this slider over here to split it up and drag this part to 85. We're going to add the sparks now. Go to File, Open, select the fireworks image from the link, and click Open. Then, using the Move tool, drag this layer to the original document. Press Ctrl-T on your keyboard and transform it as you like. Change the blending mode of this layer to screen and place it over the Bulb O2 layer. Now you can duplicate the Bulb O2 and Sparks layers to create more unlit bulbs. I will create 2 more, so I'll hide another 2 light bulb layers. Right-click on the Bulb O2 layer and choose Duplicate Layer to duplicate it. I'll name this new layer Bulb O3. Now position it on the place of one of the removed light bulbs. Alt-click and drag to duplicate this layer, and position this new layer on the place of the second removed light bulb. Now select the Sparks layer and alt-click and drag to duplicate it. Position this new Sparks layer over one of the unlit bulb layers and repeat this for remaining unlit bulb layers. I'll transform the new Sparks layers to make them look unique. Here is my result. We are going to make some global adjustments now. Click on the icon here to create a new layer at the top of the layers in the Layers panel, and name it Noise. Then, go to Edit, Fill, and set the contents to 50% gray. Change the blending mode of this layer to Soft Light, right-click on it and choose Convert to Smart Object. Then, go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and set the amount to 3%, distribution to Gaussian, and check the monochromatic option. Now go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Color Lookup, and in the Properties panel, choose the 3-strip look. Change the opacity of this layer to 85%. Here is our final result. I hope you understood everything. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Marco and thank you for watching.